Starting off Generation 4, we have every sane person's favourite tortoise boy, Turtwig, and unfortunately, we're gonna kill him off. Sure, he probably has a painful bite, and his shell is hard, but like, realistically, is he gonna kill me? No way. He too dang small. And just like that, all it took was Turtwig getting a little bigger and a lot heavier, and I'm in much more danger than I was before. While not immediately an instant loss, fighting a Grottle would be like fighting a hog more than a tortoise, so we'll be tackling each other until eventually one of us gives in, and that's pretty fair in my eyes. And lastly, Torterra is fucking enormous, and fully capable of just killing me through sheer weight or strength. To add insult to injury, Legends Arceus says that its strength is peerless, so yeah, my chances of beating a Torterra are a big fat 0. I win against Turtwig, Grottle's a fair fight, and I lose against Torterra. Chimchar seems dangerous because of the flame, but it turns out, according to the decks, he doesn't control or shoot fire in any meaningful way yet, and so for the purposes of this video, it's just a little monkey with no claws. I'd beat the shit out of this dude. Now Monferno, this is a dangerous monkey. It has control over the intensity of its flame tail and is stated as dealing out powerful attacks. Combining this with its ninja-like agility and how it leaps about in all directions, we have a pretty solid fight in our hands, one I'm actually not too confident in. Now Infernape uses all of its limbs in its own unique fighting style, where it engulfs its hands and feet in fire and throws you about like a ragdoll. Apparently none beat its speed, and it will fuck up anyone it finds, no matter how big and scary they might be. I win against Chimchar, Monferno has the advantage, and I lose against Infernape.
This dude sucks at walking, so he wouldn't stand a chance against me, a human with a tendency for walking, perhaps even a proficiency in walking. I could walk this man into an early grave. Penguins aren't known for their flying, but I have one brilliant candidate right here. Who the fuck gave Ugly over here the power to snap trees in half? You bastard Pokédex writers need to get your facts straight. All Prinplup can do is be a penguin. Can't believe I'm gonna lose to this fucker. I thought Empoleon was steel type because of his weird trident face, but no, turns out those are just horns. Its wings are apparently as sharp as even masterfully crafted blades, and it can absolutely decimate sheets of ice in one swing. So I win against Piplup, and I strangely lose against both Prinplup and Empoleon. The most dangerous feat of strength this regular bird has is that if it smacks you with its wing, it will leave pain that lasts for a week. So as much as a bruise sucks, once I grab hold of it, we should be good to just... Staravia is obviously bigger than Starly, and so he gets points for that, but the deck specifically mentions that they understand that they're weak. Its claws and beak don't look like they're made for murder, just pecking and perching. So you know what? Even though it isn't really a huge threat, I'll still say he has a chance. Staraptor is bigger yet again, and is stated as having strong leg and wing muscles. It has a ferocious nature where it won't stop attacking even when it's injured. This will be a true fight to the death, and I think Big Bird has the advantage here. I win against Starly, and I have the advantage over Staravia, and Staraptor has the advantage over me. Now listen, I'm not a religious person, but honestly, what am I supposed to do against this perfect creature? I mean, look at him. Those sharp incisors, the strong, ready legs, those steely eyes that aren't afraid of no bitch-ass YouTubers. I never stood a chance. Some do say, though, that he's secretly a big idiot and just has a painful bite and nothing else going for him, but that's just slanderous propaganda. This slow, ungodlike idiot barely has anything going for him other than is a beaver. While I don't want to say that this thing could cause some serious damage, it could, and would probably be a decent fight overall. I lose against Bidoof, and Babarrel is a fair fight. I love this little musical bug and would never want to harm him, however, harm him I must. He's too small, too light, and look at him. He doesn't even have arms, just hands. With defenses like that, he's gonna die. While Topman Walkery's cricket isn't an incredible threat, its arms are described as sword-like, meaning that I assume they're at least sharp-ish. Beyond that, it is just a big-ass cricket, and I won't accept anything less than me having the advantage. I win against Kricketot, and I have the advantage against Kricketune. Shinx is aggressive, but its abilities give me the sense of defense over offense. It shines very bright when threatened, and it uses the blinding light to escape. However, it is apparently capable of building up a tremendous amount of electricity, so while I could beat it up pretty easily, it could genuinely stop my heart if it got a good zap in. Fucking Sword and Shield just had to go and fuck it all up again. I didn't have a good chance against it regardless because it has sharp claws and can cause fainting, but Shield said that its claws can output 1 million volts of electricity, which obviously I'm not living. For once, I'm going to take some creative liberties. The Dex mentions it being able to expend electricity once, but it doesn't mention how strong it is, and this is where I take over. Obviously, it's not weaker than Luxio, so yeah, I lose, but like, why's the Dex gotta fuck over this dude so bad with the no information that it gives? Shinx is a fair fight, and I lose against Luxio and Luxray.
Budu's not in the best of situations. I am notoriously good at killing plants, both in this series and in the real world. Surprisingly though, Budu isn't completely useless here. Apparently its pollen contains poison, and while I doubt it's strong enough to kill me, it'd definitely be something I want to avoid. Other than that, this little man is getting smushed. Other than being just a flower, I don't really stand much of a chance against Roserade. I was thinking that I was going to get lucky and just beat them up, but turns out this dude is fucking riddled with poison. And to top it all off, he has secret whips in his arms that are also laced with a life-threatening poison. It can move very Dancer-like, and then it will just slowly whip and poison me to death. I win against Budu, and I lose against Roserade. While Cranidos is very no thoughts, head empty, I still have to be very careful. This son of a bitch could snap trees in half with his fucking face. He's quite heavy for his size, so I doubt he's outpacing me anytime soon, but still. Luckily, it seems other than his head, the rest of his body is pretty normal and I could still do some damage at the back. The little ankle biter still has a decent chance though. If we ignore the absolute shade that the Dex throws at this idiot, he's still a fucking dinosaur that knocked down a skyscraper with a single headbutt. Unlike with Cranidos, I don't think I can use my height, weight and speed advantage to give myself a chance here because, well, he's probably faster, is heavier, and while he's still shorter than me, I don't think those few inches are going to do me any favours. Cranidos is a fair fight, and I lose against Rampardos. Thank you Gen 4 for making a whole bunch of dinosaurs for me to fight. I love that. Now Shieldon can dig up trees with its shovel face, which is scary, but it is specifically mentioned as being weak from behind, and considering how heavy it is, I doubt I'll have any problem avoiding it. I just have to get behind it and literally kick its ass, and we should be golden. As much as the Dex is trying to give me a way out of this fight by saying it is helpless when attacked from behind, I, as an average human, have nothing to attack this behemoth with. He's definitely thick with 5 C's, so without sharp teeth or an incredible amount of force behind my punches and kicks, he's probably just going to flatten my ass like a fucking pancake. I have the advantage against Shieldon, and I lose to Bastiodon. This little worm boy has absolutely nothing going for it. He's small, has no defences, and without his cloak, he looks like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man got burnt to shit. I'm going to twist his stupid little ice cream head off. Wormadam's greatest feat of strength is that at its max defense, it can repel a Starly's pecking. That's it. It looks bulky, but I'm gonna blast its ass into the second dimension. Mothim is a moth, and the last moth that crossed me got turned into wall art, and this will be no different. He has absolutely 0 defenses, and look at him. He's just got a little baby body. I win against this whole line and all their forms because they're literally just bugs and shit. No powers. Combi is a very easy way to get yourself a triple kill. I assume they're physically linked together by skin, and so when I pull them apart face by face, they will bleed to death in a slow, violent fashion. And then I'll immediately regret this decision when fighting Vespiquen. The Dex doesn't actually mention anything about its strength, just about how it acts like a regular real-life queen would. However, look at that face. That is not a passive, peaceful face. Vespiquen would be aggressive and want me very dead, very quick. And after a quick bit of research, queen bees do have stingers, so yeah. I win against Combi and I lose against Vespiquen. Pachirisu, the world champ himself. While very fragile, Pachirisu is still able to shoot real electricity out of its tail. Now, I'm pretty thick, but I'm unfortunately not made of rubber, and for how small and agile squirrels are, I'd be in a pretty shitty situation trying to lay my hands on this little dude, and with the amount of time it would take to actually catch him, he'd probably have stopped my heart with plenty of zaps at that point, so oddly enough, Pachirisu has the advantage. Weasel's one of those Pokemon that I don't hate, but I tend to avoid, maybe just because everyone talks about using Floatzel in all their playthroughs. Regardless, I digress. Weasel's just a little guy with spinny tails. I'm gonna crack his head open against rocks. Floatzel's dex entries refuse to say that it can smash rocks or that it can create tidal waves. They instead opt to talk about it rescuing people and its flotation sack. Well, Floatzel can suck my flotation sack because above water it's just a small man with no powers. I win against both of these water boys. Hey, my second favourite fruit is cherry. Nice. Cherry is a fucking flower? Literally nothing else to it. Docile in the dark, cheerful in the day, equally dead at any point in time. I want to make a clever joke about these two, but honestly, they're the most plant-like Pokemon so far, and are about as dangerous as real-life cherries. I win against both these fucking grass people. Shellos is not the most intimidating Pokemon for sure, and the dex makes sure that it isn't capable of anything scary either. Shellos is just a little squishy boy that shoots out some purple liquid when you stress it out. As cute as he is, I wouldn't have any choice but to stomp his head in. Gastrodon is a little trickier because now its squishiness actually makes it a punching bag that wouldn't really care about being hit unless it was really, really hard. And since I'm not Francis Ngannou, I don't see it being particularly bothered. And it can regenerate? Unfortunately, the dex doesn't say it's dangerous, it's just a slug to them. So weirdly enough, this is going to be a draw. I win against Shellos, and I draw with a Gastrodon. But I don't want to fight the monkey. I want to be accepted into its friendship circles. Regardless of my love for the Monkey Man, it's apparently a hardened rival of Persimmon who is a 6'7" monkey, or as it's otherwise known as, a human being. That's literally just a guy. And Ambipom wins half the time, despite being half the size, and a quarter of the weight, so it's gotta be good at fighting. Based on the fact that I'm smaller, lighter, and probably weaker than a Persimmon, I gotta give the monkey the advantage. Ambipom has the advantage. Drifloon is super cute once you get past the actual child murdering. However, the dex has given us a few subtle clues to help us win. First off, Drifloon dislikes heavy kids because it can't carry them away as easily, so its strength is lacking. Secondly, it runs away when kids play too rough with it, so its defense is low as children are able to scare it. As far as I'm concerned, this is a win for me. Drifblim, however, is noticeably stronger, capable of picking up people and successfully carrying them away where they will never be seen again. And I'm assuming that these people wouldn't just let it happen, so they must have at least tried to hurt Drifblim. So I have a limited amount of time to kill it while it slowly floats me upward and drops me from a big height. I still think there's a chance. I win against Drifloon, and Drifblim has the advantage. What the fuck? Who wrote this? Who thought this was good? It's a fucking rabbit. Why is it smashing boulders to dust? Well, it looks like fighting Baneri is going to be like tag, but for keeps. If I get hit once, I'm fucking dead. And rabbits are quick, so I'm going to say Baneri has a good chance of just one-shotting me. And now this fucker is a karate master with super destructive kicks and the ability to sense danger? Why are these rabbits so busted? With the agility and speed increase as well as the goddamn future sight, I don't think I stand a chance. Baneri has the advantage, and I lose against a Lopunny. Mismagius is like the Deadpool of Pokemon. It's totally up for being one of the good guys, but it's just happy fucking ruining someone's life in the next moment. Despite all this, Mismagius doesn't seem capable of killing with its curses, just generally ruining your life, much like Bayonet. So while it'll be a major pain to live for the remainder of my life, I will still win, and that's what truly matters. I win against Mismagius. After reading Honchcrow's entries, it's become increasingly clear that he is just a bird mob boss, and that's awesome. For everyone but me. It is apparently good at punishing people and delivering the final blow. This is unfortunate, but it's surprisingly small for what many would consider to be a big ass bird. So combining these two things, I think it would be safe to call it a fair fight since I'm bigger, but he's much meaner. Honchcrow is a fair fight. This is a cat. Literally just a cat. A cat with mild hypnotic powers, mind you, but a cat nonetheless. It does have claws and shit, yeah, but look how small and light this cat is. I've never seen someone get gored to death by a regular house cat, and I will be no exception. Besides, look at the thinness of that neck. I think this one is pretty clear cut. Perugly is a bit more threatening thanks to its size increase, but I don't think it holds any distinct advantage over me because of that. I'm sure it still has claws, but it's no more a lion than Glammeow was, so considering how thick it is, this is a pretty fair fight in my eyes. I win against Glammeow, and Perugly is a fair fight. Chingling can best be described as an ultrasonic weapon used to induce headaches, which sounds really scary until you remember it's a tiny fucking bell and could genuinely be kicked or thrown fucking miles away. Even though, yes, I'm going to have the shittiest headache after the fight, there is no universe where I don't stomp this little dude flat. I win against Chingling. Someone needs to investigate what these Dex writers take before writing these entries and then release it to me, because they are so damn imaginative. Stunky lets out ass-splosion so foul that it induces memory loss. Amnesia ass blast is not a thing, and I will not accept a loss against this thing. It just smells so bad. I just need to run at it and beat it to death. Skuntank is a 3-foot skunk with claws and the ability to accurately shoot poison more than 160 feet away. Even without the poison, it's still pretty fucking scary because that is a big skunk with some big claws. But with the poison, my goose is fucked. I win against Stunky and I lose against Skuntank. Bronzor is incapable of doing any damage apparently. All he does is just show you the future occasionally. He is made of metal however, due to it being a fact that he can be polished, and he doesn't look like plastic or wood to me. So he's made of steel, which I can't do anything to either, so this stupid fucking frisbee is actually another draw. Bronzong, on the other hand, is so mysterious and has powers such that ancient people revered it as a god. Quite the glow up. I, however, am more concerned about the fact that it's a fucking enormous bell made of pure steel that would crush me like my name was fucking Ernesto or something. Bronzor is a draw, and I lose against Bronzong. This bitch sweats out his motherfucking eyes and wants you to feel bad for it. However, I don't. I'm gonna grab his stupid little baubles and throw him off a cliff or something. I could actually smash him to pieces by just swinging him into the floor. I win against Bonsly. I quite like Mime Jr., definitely much more than his dad, so it saddens me to say that all it wants to do is copy what you do and for you to be impressed at it, like a baby. So hopefully, when I put my shoe through his face, it instantaneously kills him and my sorrow will be minimized. I win against Mime Jr. Okay, so we're well into the portion of Gen 4 that is just babies. So I'm all good to beat a Happiny in a fight, but I just want to read this entry because I find the wording of it so funny. Usually, it's a well-behaved Pokemon, but if you take its round rock away, it will cry and fuss and throw a big old tantrum. That is one of the best ways to describe that scenario happening, and I love it. Anyways, I kill a Happiny. This is a fucking parrot. Genuinely, that is it. All it does is talk and make noises at you and hope you leave it alone. I'm just gonna twist his head off his shoulders. Nice and easy. No muss, no fuss. I win against Chatot. I know that lore-wise, Spiritom's a prick, right? But the Dex mentions only its ability to lay curses. Again, it doesn't mention how strong the curses are, or if they're even able to kill you, so I'm left to decide this myself, and I think that this makes this a fair fight. Sure, the curse could be awful, but we don't know, and as far as I'm concerned, I could box the shit out of Spiritomb. Look at him, he's all face. But yeah, that's my take, so Spiritomb is a fair fight. In the comments, I'm going to pin a little bit of science as to why Gible would more than likely kill me, but basically all you need to know is he's capable of chipping his own teeth by biting, and that should be enough force to break almost every bone in my body, and since he's sharkish, I assume he has thick skin. Gabite has a violent disposition and will tear you apart with their claws and fangs if you even come near their territory. I'm a realist, Gabite is gonna fucking kill me. Garchomp can cut down trees with wind from how fast it flies, and it eats entire flocks of bird Pokemon in one go. If any of you even pretend that you can do shit against this dude, you're lying. I lose against all three of these dragon bitches. Munchlax is an odd case, because he can indeed eat his own body weight, 105 kilograms, every day. In fact, he has to. I am 84 kilograms, and so he could eat me, and he does eat things in one gulp. So for Munchlax, he'd have to vor me, which he could totally do. However, this big bitch has to be slow. So could he catch me? I don't think so. In this very specific case, I think I have the advantage because I could just wear him down and beat him to death. But it's still totally possible for him to kill me, so I have the advantage against Munchlax. According to the Dex, Riolu is just a dog with lots of energy. No fangs, no claws, just really good stamina and likes to run. Now fair enough, I could definitely be outrun by a Riolu, but once it comes down to the fucking fisticuffs, he's getting folded faster than a pop-up tent on a windy day. And Lucario can crush boulders to dust with fucking Kamehameha aura blasts, so yeah, I'm getting my shit stomped. I win against Riolu, and I lose against Lucario. Hippopotas is literally just a baby hippo that likes sand. And despite the word baby, you still don't want to fuck around with any kind of hippo. Now I won't say I have no chance, but I think it's pretty 50-50. If it gets its jaws on me, I'm a little fucked, but so long as I just stay safely behind it, I should be okay. Hippowdon can make sandstorms and is angry as fuck. Also it has a 7-foot mouth that has the power to crush a car. Now despite my thickness, I'm not quite car level yet, so I don't feel so confident fighting this dude. Hippopotas is a fair fight and I lose against Hippowdon. Skorupi is 12 times bigger than the average scorpion, and scorpion poison is potentially fatal, but only really to those that are younger, and it hasn't happened in quite a while. However, with the size increase comes an increase in the amount of poison that Skorupi would produce, and I hate to say it, I don't think getting stung by 12 scorpions worth of poison is going to make me feel very good. And it has fangs and claws? I'm going to die. Now Drapion is more than capable of just stinging you once and you die, but this man is such a fucking Giga Chad that he avoids using poison so he can kill you with his pure strength, where upon your death I presume it will flex over your corpse and then teabag your face. I lose against these scorpion boys. Carnivine's pretty much a big dog with swords for teeth. I'm pretty fucking scared to fuck around with him, but I need views, so I gotta. It eats bitches whole because he's also a Venus flytrap. However, I'm quite a bit bigger than him and he's still a plant. So for this, I reckon it'll be a good old-fashioned fist and teeth fight, where it comes down to who bleeds out or who is knocked unconscious first. Carnivine is a fair fight. This is a motherfucking fish, and that's all I need to know, honestly. The biggest issue I'll have is getting my hands on it, but once that happens, it's game over for the fish. This is a much bigger fish that could potentially kill me with brute slapping force, but it has no other weapon besides its own big body. I could also just catch it so it doesn't stand very much chance, but fish slaps hurt, so I gotta give it at least a chance. I win against Finneon, and I have the advantage against Luminion. Mantike is really fucking friendly apparently, like impossible to anger. However, it's pretty goddamn heavy and a very good swimmer, so if it just body slammed me repeatedly, it would certainly cave my ribs in at some point, so weirdly enough, I think this is going to be a fairer fight than I expected. Mantike is a fair fight. Snover is literally like if a puppy was actually a tree, incredibly curious about everything, bonds with children easily, and this is very good news for me as, not to be crude, but I could fucking destroy almost any puppy, especially one with no powers. It has no claws, no fangs, hell, it might not even have a mouth, so I'm not concerned about being beaten to death. I'm pretty sure this is a win for me. Now Abomasnow is literally referred to as the ice monster by humans. It can create a very strong blizzard with just a shake of its body, and also it's 7 foot tall and able to split boulders easy. I'm not so sure that I can win this one. I win against Snover and I lose against Abomasnow. This devious bastard is evil as shit. Evolving has made it cruel and cunning as well as coordinated. Now normally, Weavile hunt in packs, but honestly, just one of these dudes should be enough to take me down. Its claws are strong and sharp enough to carve signals into boulders and penetrate a Mamoswine's hide. To add more pain to the mixture, when it scratches you with its claws, the area you were scratched with will be afflicted with frostbite. So honestly, despite its size and weight being pretty small, I think Weavile's got this. I lose against a Weavile. Not only is this 180 kg steel behemoth capable of zooming through the sky at high speeds, which was already more than enough to kill me, it's currently one of, I believe, only 2 Pokemon that the Dex says is capable of actually using Hyper Beam. In the Dex. So yeah, fuck me, right? I lose against Magnezone. Krogunk is a fucking bandit level of dirty fighter. He'd stick his thumb in your eye if he had thumbs. He does, however, have poisonous fingers, and if he did jab you in the eye, it would immediately blind you. He doesn't look particularly tanky, so if I somehow dodge all of his attacks and return one really strong kick, I could maybe kill him. So it's not impossible, it's just very unlikely. Toxicroak is a flexible fighter with impeccable dodging skills. Already pretty scary, but then they mentioned that the claws on his knuckles secrete a toxin so fucking vile that even the tiniest scratch could prove fatal. So you're asking me to fight Jackie Chan and avoid any and all hits? Yeah, thanks. Croagunk has the advantage and I lose against Toxicroak. Licky Licky is a secret horror of the Pokemon world. A giant, tongue-wielding pink creature that has saliva that causes numbness that never goes away, and is corrosive. Also, despite using only a melee weapon, its tongue, Licky Licky can best be described as a ranged fighter, capable of stretching said tongue very far away from it. Combining all of this utter horseshit with the fact that it's capable of using its tongue about as well as we use our hands, and I have a recipe for dying. I lose against Licky Licky. Rhyperior is a fucking armoured rhino dinosaur that can shoot rocks out of its hands like missiles. But you know what? Let's say he has no access to rocks. Well, then I'd have to break through his armour, which can withstand volcanic eruptions, while also dodging its drill horn, which it does use to gore prey, myself included. I'm not winning here. I lose against Rhyperior. Tangrowth is literally just a huge bundle of vines, which doesn't sound terrible, but it actually really is. Even though its vines aren't as defensive as some other Pokemon, they are however capable of regrowing almost instantly since it doesn't actually have arms, just arm-like vines. It can stretch these vines pretty much as far as it wants, and it will wrap them around you and proceed to slam you against the floor until you stop moving. Game over. I lose against Tangrowth. Electivire is a fucking monster. Taller than me and much heavier due to how muscular it is. Electivire will completely ignore everything you throw at it so that it can get in close and basically taser you until your heart stops. And if it really wants to add the personal touch, it holds its electrified tail in its hand and then just punches you to death with an electrified fist. Fun. I lose against an Electivire. Magmortar is like if a trebuchet grew arms and legs and a face and wanted you to die. It blasts fireballs over 2000 degrees Celsius straight from its arm cannons directly into your face hole. Or at least, that's where the hole in your face will be once it's done with you. Also, its body is fire, so I can't even touch it. I lose against Magmortar. Togekiss may look big, but that is Pokemon propaganda. Togekiss is under 5 foot and weighs only 38 kilograms, so as far as I'm concerned, this is just a large bird with no claws and teeth, and I will tear it from the sky. The only issue is it doesn't even show its face where there is conflict, and considering I'm planning on murdering it, I don't know if it would even show up, but regardless, I would kick its ass. I win against Togekiss. Holy fucking shit. Yanmega is straight evil, and I would genuinely jump straight into a volcano before fighting this thing. You wanna know why? Well, let me explain. It prefers to battle by biting apart foes' heads instantly while flying by at high speed. What the fuck? Also, it's described as incredibly violent and it aims for your most vulnerable spots. I'm not just dead, I'm mega fucked. I lose hard against Yanmega. My chance of beating a Leafeon was going great. They were talking about how it hates fighting and just sits around in the sun all day. Then they fucked it all up by mentioning that its tail is razor sharp and can cut through large trees in one swing. Fuck. Glaceon is a different story though. It can freeze the fur on its body into spikes and then it'll just slam into you as much as it can until you die. Now what do? Kick it? You kick a cat covered in knives and let me know how that goes. I'm gonna be honest, despite their size, I don't think I could beat either of these. I lose against Leafeon and Glaceon. While Gliscor isn't 6 foot all the way, it's just his tail, he is still a silent flying vampire demon that will attack your most vulnerable spots to drain your entire body of blood using his razor sharp fangs. And honestly, I'm just not about that and would very, very likely get murdered. I lose against Gliscor. It's literally a fucking mammoth that's been around for 10 millennia and has giant goring tusks made of pure ice. Just kill me now and fucking get it over with. I lose against the prehistoric elephant. Who would have guessed? Porygon Z is still the immortal code space duck with no organs, but this time it's not as peaceful as its odd brethren. This time it's insane and has a knife. According to Laventon, its offensive capabilities have greatly increased, as well as how odd it is, and this is apparently worrying. So, while I am incapable of killing it due to its lack of heartbeat, lungs, and brain, it is supposedly capable of killing me, and so this is the first time Porygon has come to kill. I lose against Porygon Z. Gallade is a chivalrous creature that will lay down its life to protect those it loves, but in this case, I don't think that's going to be an issue. It is a master swordsman with 2 blades that extend out of its elbows that are even sharper than even the most well-crafted swords that you could find. It's decently big, and it is fast. More than likely, I'll be sliced into fucking ribbons before it even processes in my mind that my head is suddenly not where it was mere seconds ago. I lose against Gallade. Probopass may look like a giant fucking nose, and you'd be right to think that, he basically is. However, he has an incredible magnetic force within his body that allows it to form hard stones from iron sand, which it will then use to promptly beat you to death with. Like a fucking caveman. Also, honestly, what can I do to a giant rocky schnoz? Fuck all. I lose against Probopass. Now here we have another ghost that loves to suck souls straight out of your stupid face. That's already a point in the loss column, but if you add in the fact that it's basically the Grim Reaper as it guides lost souls into the afterlife, and that it has been occasionally known to take away souls that still had life to live, you have a very solid case for why I'm gonna die. And he won't even need to physically touch me. I lose against Dusknoir. Frostlass is the mean ghost of a dead woman who got lost on the snowy mountains and then possessed an icicle. Her favourite food is the souls of men, so that's bad, but do you know what's even worse? She only goes after men she thinks are handsome. So every man here, including myself, are in deep trouble. Because obviously watching me means you're handsome, but I digress. I'm going in this fucker's trophy room. I lose against Frostlass. In this fight, Rotom has no access to all of his silly little machines, so let's just get rid of that immediately. Next, let's be reminded that he's not made of electricity, and he's also not able to project electricity either, according to the dex. He is, however, made of plasma, and science time for all of you that don't know about plasma. Plasma is the lesser known and oft-forgotten fourth state of matter, and much like how a solid can melt into a liquid, and a liquid can boil into a gas can superheat, becoming plasma. And plasma can only exist at temperatures equal to or above 6,000 degrees Celsius, so it's actually worse that he's made of plasma and touching him would melt my bones. I lose against Rotom. Now Uxie here is known as the being of knowledge, and for good reason. It supposedly has dominion over all knowledge and was the reason we as a species are able to problem solve. Looking into Uxie's eyes will just wipe your memories, and it could potentially just remove your ability to think, so regardless of whether its attack hurts, it could make me forget that we're meant to be fighting as it beats me to death with its tiny hands. I lose against Uxie. Mesprit is known as the being of emotion, and it gets that title because when it flew, humans were given our emotional spectrum. Mesprit's unique because it's one of the few Pokemon that could make me kill myself, since if it wishes to, it can throw your emotions into disarray, such as making me suicidally sad. Dark for what's supposed to be a benevolent Pokemon, but a fight is a fight, I suppose. I lose against Mesprit. Azelf, the being of willpower, the birth of humanity's ability to challenge adversity and triumph. As the progenitor of free will, Azelf obviously can control a person's will, making it not so free, and controlling you like a puppet. So Azelf is joining Mesprit in the very small clan of Pokemon that would just force me to end my own life instead of doing it themselves. I lose against Azelf. Guys, I'm gonna be honest. I just don't think I have what it takes to defeat the 17-foot, 683 kg steel dinosaur god with complete control over time. This may come as a surprise, but I think I might lose this fight. Dialga's just too strong for me to deal with. He could stop time and kill me in 0 seconds. He could travel back in time and erase me from existence. Basically, there's nothing I can do here. I am fucked. I lose against Dialga. Even though Palkia is a fucking nightmare design and is truly abhorrent to look at, it's still a powerhouse that controls the existence of space. Even if it were possible for me to harm it, which it's not because it's just that damn massive, Palkia is capable of teleporting anywhere in the known and unknown universe, potentially even other dimensions. The fight would probably go like this. I'm crying, Palkia picks me up, Boom, we're on Saturn and I immediately die. I lose against Palkia. Heatran is double fucked up. It's made of steel, and underneath that steel is blood that boils like magma and is so hot that it sometimes melts its own body. It lives in volcanoes and it can walk on walls. Who wrote all of this? Also, to bring it all home, it weighs 430 kilograms, so yeah, I lose against Heatran. Regigigas is a 12-foot tall monster with enough power to pull the continents of the world with ropes. If it punched me, I'd look like that mosquito bitch from One Punch Man. I would simply be a big red stain on the floor, because Regigigas might just be the most physically imposing Pokemon of all time. Do you know how much a continent weighs? No? Of course you don't. No one does. It's not really possible to figure it out. He's that strong. I lose against Regigigas. Giratina is genuinely scary. You just don't fuck with a Pokemon that was banished to hell by God himself for its violence. Being described as the deep shadow created by Arceus' light shows that I didn't even have to consider whether I could beat Giratina, because I can't. Even if it wasn't Satan, it's still 14 foot long and 750 kg. I never stood a chance. I lose against Giratina. Cresselia is powerful in the games, but in the lore of the Pokédex, it's basically a big swan, and as much as I don't want to do a disservice to Cresselia, I have to be realistic, and based on its entries, I have a chance. It flies, which immediately gives it a good chance, and while it isn't particularly heavy or very big, it does look quite pointy, weirdly enough, and also swans are a tad aggressive, so I'm still saying it has the advantage, but since it weighs literally the same as me, but I'm bigger, this could be a good wrestling match. Cresselia has the advantage. Fione is one of the few, if not the only, legendary/mythical that's described as having natural predators, and considering it's 1 foot tall and 3 kilograms, no wonder. I could stomp the shit out of this useless blue bastard. Manaphy is smaller and lighter than Fione, somehow, so I'm honestly all good. It says it has the power to bond with any Pokemon it finds, but it'll find out soon enough that I'm not a fucking Pokemon. I'm a man. I like eating, sleeping, and killing. This will be no different. I win against both of these azure assholes. Darkrai literally has the defense mechanism of forcing you to sleep and causing you to experience horrific nightmares. And even if it couldn't kill me physically, which I'm like 98% sure it can, the nightmares are so intense that they can, and have, caused people to die. So I'm 100% confident that Darkrai, the king of nightmares, could beat me here. I lose against Darkrai. Shaymin is basically just a hedgehog. It's got nothing it can do against me other than hide, and even if it has access to its sky form, all that can do is fly, which is cool, but as soon as my hands make contact with it, it's in horrible danger and will promptly die. I win against Shaymin.